put on a little makeup to do this video, and I look like I just walk out of my own grave. So I just sprinkle a little filter on. Jeez, I can't do makeup for shit. So I put together a little something about how a spiritual ID works and what it is. I'm always writing. So I have 2 books here that I'll be reading some of the stuff from and then try to remember some of the others. I should be able to memorize them very well since I live by these things. They come in the form of what people might be familiar with as downloads. I don't know. I guess you get me following the crowd. I don't know what else to call them. I get downloads. So I'm going to just read some of what I wrote and whatever else I remember. How important it is to utilize your spiritual ID. I find that intuition and discernment is a package deal. Can't really use one without the other. When I realize how vital that is, that's when I just call it ID. Intuition and discernment, my spiritual ID. Man, I don't want to go anywhere in this world without it. This is where I see the power of free will. To get up and be an autopilot each day, making choices only cause they are easier is not free will, not in my opinion. Imagine being met with 2 or more choices, and if you neglect to choose because you don't have to, despite the consequences, then the lack of action can cause you to lose something, anything, from time to life, energy, also not one and the same to me. Sometimes making a choice can result in others feeling left out or even time wasted for choosing too slow or even wrong or whatever you can freely think of. I will try to be as simple and reasonable as possible when talking about how learning about anything can consciously and unconsciously help us to navigate through our life. Keeping my reflexes closely related to memory. Our bodies, I believe, learn through somatic memory mostly. That's like storing dramatic or traumatic experience in our DNA. You know, like being traumatized and carrying that stress from childhood straight to adulthood without even knowing. Your body store that information. After being in a certain situation that makes you feel extremely happy, angry, scared, being in a similar situation after any of those emotions that are at all-time high, the new situation can trigger you and make you feel safe or unsafe because it reminds you, consciously or unconsciously, of we've been here before or oh my god, not again. Just try to see how unconscious can meet conscious to alert our bodies to feel safe or scared if we find ourselves in familiar situations, so we can make certain, if not different, choices if we want different results. How we learn and understand can speed up or slow down our reaction time. Be patient with yourselves. Be kind to the child within you that you're teaching. You're unlearning to relearn when it comes to a lot of things. Be patient with yourselves. Keep in mind the meaning of the ID, the spiritual ID, intuition and discernment. It's a package deal. Don't be trying to use one without the other. The intuition is recognizing your feelings, your thoughts, when your body is speaking to you. It resonates, even if that's my own definition. The discernment is understanding what your body is saying to you and taking action accordingly. The world around us might seem a little bigger when we're new in spiritual ground, but you'll get lost if you leave your spiritual ID. Don't do that. Don't do that. The more you use it, the easier it will be. When you can filter the world through your pineal gland, if I'm not saying it right, I'm pointing at it, or third eye as most call it. Once you have your spiritual ID, your intuition and discernment, you're more prepared for any corner you turn and find some BS around there waiting. Nothing will really catch you off guard. You won't be surprised, or you won't be that surprised. It's that ID that causes you to understand something immediately without conscious reasoning. That don't mean you can't be conscious. It just so you don't even know Remember, I said reflex. Think intuitive, being alert, consciousness, your body on its P's and Q's. Your body on its P's and Q's. Be more sensitive to the world around us. That's what it boils down to. With discernment, you can experience hesitation. This can cause you to even like think before you speak. Decide whether you want to go left or right, up or down, act now or act later. Some of these things we can end up doing unconsciously. We're talking about unconsciously. All these unconscious things meet the conscious things. Like we're just trying to find out. I already know. Which I'm trying to word how we piece them together so we can make better judgment and do what we need to do to survive and navigate life. Understanding is very important, both in discernment and intuition. Intuition and discernment. If I flip it, it wouldn't be ID anymore, would it? Anyways. So, it matters how you understand or what you think you understand. Understanding shape our beliefs and our faith, or lack thereof. So far, I've been doing my best to word how our body's been storing information from yay high to yay high. And we don't always remember everything, but our bodies store those information. So if we're paying attention, we can see how sometimes it's attempting to remind us, hey, you made certain choice before, quite similar to this one, and it didn't work out. Are you sure you want to do that? You listened to whatever before and didn't pan out. Are you sure you want to do that? It's like a safety mechanism or something going on there if you learn to pay attention to your ID. I realized my intuition was always, I want to say top tier, because we're still sharpening up here. But my discernment game was whack. And I feel like that's why a lot of us can hit ourselves with the shoulda, coulda, woulda, because something told us otherwise when it comes to making certain choices, but we never listen. We weren't really taught the importance of listening, how to listen, and yada, yada, yada. And that's what I've been learning on my own, how to merge the two, because they do go well together and they're working for me so far. That's what I feel the need to share. Try to stay with me as I might ramble. But imagine knowing what a fire is and one day you come in close contact with it. Even if somebody warn you, I can guarantee you the lesson will hit different once you touch that thing and learn on your own. Carry you all the way throughout life. Imagine not knowing how to cook and somebody tell you one of the most important ingredients to not leave out is salt, but they never tell you how to measure it or that you should measure it. And then you get to cooking and got carried away and whatnot. And as much as it wouldn't hurt as much as the fire did, it's a lesson you probably won't forget. While everybody learned differently and at different pace, I feel certain that we all learn through repetition and patterns. So some things, if you don't get it now, you'll get it later. So the fire, I think, might teach you that, some things hurt and that we don't always have to learn the hard way in order to learn. If we can just learn to listen. As for the salt now, we'll learn about measurement and that even though something is good, too much of any one thing is not always going to give you the same result. We really can learn so many things from just one experience. And there's so many experiences. Learn. I believe when it comes to believing or accepting a thing to be true without having our own experience is because something within us, maybe by way of memory or, trusting a source because we have or somebody we know got information from certain source before and we deem it to be trustworthy. It's not their first rodeo or we're familiar with this or that. Source can be some program, books, your parents, people in authority or whatnot, a friend of a friend. somebody you feel like you got information from this source before and it was valid, so why not, you know? Something about remembering that we can go back to this thing, rely on this thing. When you use your ID, or you're supposed to use your ID, you'll realize your ID is that thing. Remember how one thing can teach you many things if you're paying attention to the lesson or lessons in a particular experience or whatnot. So imagine walking to the edge of a building without the intention of flying. Something in your body will like pull you back. I don't know, they must have scientific terms and whatnot. I'm not familiar with a lot of things, though I'm familiar with a lot. But anyways, something in your body pull you back, like warning you that there's danger here. Even like a second before you even realize that you were about to step off, there's just this, what's that word I'm looking for? Immediate reaction, whatever. That's understood, right? So if you're listening to your body more often than not, it can save you. Yeah, I don't just believe things because the person that is talking to me or wherever the information is coming from is deemed to be, or from scholars or somebody who's so educated or godly or whatever you can think of, anything at all outside of myself. If I'm not using intuition and discernment, I'm not gullible to everything that I'm hearing. So I'm still advising people to listen with discernment. We all learn at different pace. So be kind with yourself and each other as you practice and practice to trust yourself. That's the end goal, to trust yourself. And you don't have to not listen to me because you don't want to listen to me. I'm trying to tell you how to show you how to trust yourself. I mean, even though this worked for me, don't mean it might work for everybody. You find some way to twist and turn certain information to make it apply. Because like I said, we all learn differently. But I'm sharing what works for me so that others can learn to trust themselves. It don't mean what you hear from elsewhere won't be necessary, but with the ability to sift through it. It's like, it's a beautiful gift. Thank the universe for that one. Listening with discernment cannot be overly emphasized. Like talk truth. Look how much things they say, what's in the dark is coming to light. Things that people wholeheartedly believed before. Stuff from the government, stuff from our parents, stuff from spiritual leaders. We strongly believe these things. Even the Bible, some people are questioning the Bible. I wouldn't knock it, There's so much in it. Listen with discernment. So much in it that's true and so much in it that's not. And who is to say, if you can't use your discernment, just be gullible and take what you hear. Take a look, see if you can, at Romans 12, 1 Corinthians 2, and 1 John 4. It does have some cute message concerning discernment. It makes me wonder why the word discernment is used in the Bible, or why is it even a suggestion if all of it is so true? Like, the Bible itself is telling you, don't just take my word for it. Learn to listen. Understand what discernment means. And then use it. Please understand that we can have different views and still share the same space. I know for sure with the right mindset, because it seems to take certain mindset, that is very possible. We're all different with a lot of similarities, and it's about time that we express and embrace what makes us different. And in doing so, we're going to need to share this space called Earth. I can't help but wondering if I'm all over the place, but I'm pretty sure it makes sense. At least if you listen to it more than once. So I was just thinking, about us embracing our uniqueness, starting with not caring what others think or say. Not to a point where we're being all mean with it, But you might be familiar with this saying, those who mind don't matter and those who matter don't mind. Did I say that right? If you're familiar with it, what it's saying is, let's say for example, we're friends and I have your best interest at heart. I'm not gonna always be happy about everything that you do. I might have a lot of comment if I see that you're putting yourself in harm's way, because I care. But for the most part, if something bring you joy, peace and happiness, like why would I want to get in the way of that? Because I feel uncomfortable and I'm not included or this, that and the third. So it really made that saying resonate for me. Those who mind don't matter and those who, I don't know if I'm saying it right. Let me think about it for a second. Instead of trying to figure out the exact saying, I feel like I just explain it because I don't know if it's coming out right. Those who mind don't matter and those who matter don't mind. It's pretty much saying the people that matter to you, they won't care what you do if you're not hurting yourself. They won't care how you live your life as long as you're happy. And the ones who really are more selfish, they want to be included or they just want it to be all about them, they don't matter. So you don't have to worry about what they think. I'm not going to try to say that saying again because that's just what it means. I also find it very funny how some people just want to be the one, be so different and unique, but still discriminate when somebody's so different from them. Like you can't sit with us, the cool kids or whatever the category. If you have any sibling or friend or anybody you ever share secret language with or heard of it, you will believe or understand that it's necessary that everybody understand how they're communicating. Because how you perceive the message is going to play a big part in how you act or don't act. Imagine not speaking a certain language and being in a burning building and everybody shouting fire, fire, and you're the last to run out because you didn't know that they were saying fire. How you perceive things will play a lot. Will impact the way you react in life. A great deal. The meaning of words or things matter for us to respond in a certain way. How do you respond to things and why? That question should be a part of you questioning your reality, relearning and unlearning. Why we treat people the way we do. Why we share such strong differences. Our reasonings might be okay in the name of embracing our differences. But I would do well to not make choices just to fit in or because I'm worried about what others think or because that's how I was raised and it worked for generations. So there's no need to question it. Take your time with yourself as you learn what you like and don't like about everything and everyone and understand that it's okay to be different. The aim isn't to drive yourself crazy with analyzing everything, but things that you deem to be important in your life. Take everything with a grain of salt and practice to use your intuition and discernment together to, discern what's good for you. It's really, really all about you. As long as you're not being selfish and trying to hurt anybody else, it's really all about you. If people can't see it that way, then something is wrong with them, not you.